Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashem Warakak Wadash. And double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And Yahweh Bashim Shai Brakatham to the overall elect, whom is 144,000, and including the 1/3 that do follow this ministry. Now, just speaking about this article over as this reads, Commonwealth leader defies Sir Kostama as they agree to look at slave trade reparations. Some leaders want to include an agreement to talk about reparations in the final communique, but others want a separation declaration demanding them, which could split the Commonwealth. The UK Prime Minister called the transatlantic slave trade abhorrent, but ruled out reparations as he said countries affected would rather the UK help them with current issues such as the impact of climate change. And this just goes to very well show you once again that they ain't going to do nothing about reparations. As I went and titled the video, "A Thief Never Gives Back on What He Has Stolen." It's not going to happen. Okay? These devils, they're going to pay back the hard way. Not in the way in that which is right, but in the way that as it is written. Okay? They're going to hoard every single thing, because think about it. Right? If they were to give back every single thing that they've stolen, including the freedom of the people that they've taken away and put into slavery, there would be no Great Britain. There would be no America, as well as what we know these two places to be in the Western world. They wouldn't be a success. They would be poor, just like the rest of the other nations that they've conquered. So they're not doing a damn thing in regards to reparations. It ain't happening. All right? But what will happen is that the Lord is going to be doing the reparations. Now let's read this. Micah 2 in verse 1. Woe to the oppressors. That's the title. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power. It is in the power of their hand. Absolutely. And they covet fields and take them by violence. And that's what they did to the so-called North American Indians. That's what they did to the Aborigines of Australia. And the reason why they're talking about this, because some woman aired out to the king, the so-called king, which the real king is the families that we don't even really know about, that's really running this system entirely, right? Saying he is not my king, and you stole this, and you got to give us back our skulls. I'm saying it. I'm not saying it word for word as the woman said in Australia. It was an indigenous senator of Australia, something like that, that came at the king, saying he's not my king. So that's why they're talking about this issue, right? Which they're not really talking about it. They're talking about climate change. So again, this is definitely going to return the stuff that he stole, and he's not going to give the freedoms to the people that he's enslaved. That ain't going to happen. They covet fields and they take them by violence, as it is written in the law, thou shalt not covet, and the houses, and take them away, and so they oppress a man in his house and even a man in his heritage. And that's exactly what they did to them Aborigines. And I'm talking about them now, which, you know, really the people that we focus on is the so-called North American Indians in this case, because they're the children of Israel, right? But in this case, as he's in some South Pacific Ocean island such as Samoa, right? And that's exactly what they did to them. They massacred them people, man, especially the Aborigines of Australia and all around these various islands Like everywhere Esau touched down upon, he brought violence, and he stole and pillaged lands, and then now had the nerve to call, the dark people of the earth savages, when in fact he was savaging them. It's crazy, man, but this is the devil. This is the devil. That's just what the devil does. And so, as I want to continue to read Micah 2 and verse 3, therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, and neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. Absolutely. So there's an evil plan that the Lord devised an evil upon. And they're not going to remove themselves from, again, the evil that they've dished out, which is going to come their way from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And again, I have to mention vocab. Vocab hopes that his so-called white counterparts, including himself, can escape the judgment. And it's not going to happen. It's just wishful thinking at this point. All right? Nothing more, nothing less. So now let's read the law on a thief. And we're going to get to the point. And what we're going to do is we're going to read, beginning with verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive. Matter of fact, let's begin by reading the first verse. Right. Property rights, right? Let's do this correctly. Let's read the first verse, as the title has it, property rights. And that's what Esau did. He stole all of the property and as well as the resources from all of these nations, man. And I'm going to go into that on the X. This devil done did too much dirt. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. And if a thief be found breaking up and be smitten, that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man shall cause a field of vineyard to be eaten, and shall put it in his beast, and shall feed it in another man's field of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. Right? So let's get to the point over here. Verse 7. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of that man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. And if the thief be not found, then the master of that house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hand onto his neighbor's goods. For all manner of trespass, and this is another good point, for all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox or for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenger to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judge shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. And so, as verse 7 puts it, the thief has been found. So guess what? Yahushua is going to be able to judge this devil for everything that he has done. And guess what? Where it concerns resources that he has stolen, he's going to have to give all of that back. All right? So really, when you really check it out, there was no prosperity in that. There was no profit of that. All right? Anyway, let's look at the X, right? And what I did is I typed in British stolen goods. Stolen Benin artifacts was sold for $13.5 million in 2015. Another was sold for $2.08 million in 2018. Britain stole over 6,000 artifacts from Benin, the Benin Empire of Nigeria, in 1897. And the list goes on and on and on of stuff that they stole all around the world. All right. And if somebody, let's just say you go into a store and you steal a massive amount of goods in the store, they'll find you right off the rip and you'll be arrested. But yet, these niggas can go around the world stealing goods and they just get off scot-free. But then again, it's in the power of their hand. When you're in the power seat, as Esau is, he got to been able to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. So, I mean, the list goes on and on about the stuff that was stolen, man, from among these other nations. All right? And it was gotten by ill-gotten gain. A statue of Robert Clive stands outside of the British Foreign Office in London. He looted gold by the shipload from India. God dog, man. And this guy's of great honor. They have a statue of this guy, man. That's crazy. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, these devils did too much dirt. It's Sirach chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another people. So all of that wealth that they got, and as well as the way that they got their kingdom, wasn't correct. So therefore, it's just going to only but be translated from one people to another people. And as it is written anyway, according to the order of the kingdoms, the next kingdom which will come next in line is our kingdom, and there ain't going to be no other kingdom next, as it is also written in the book of Daniel chapter 2, where it mentions that our kingdom will not be given to another people. All right? So our kingdom is going to be the one and only kingdom. Because all of this stuff that they stole belongs unto us anyway, because the earth is our inheritance, rightfully so, as the Most High has bestowed this upon us. And so we're just waiting to inherit the planet Earth. As it is written, the meek will inherit the earth. All right, so now let's go and read this over here. Job, the 20th chapter. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of his sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. So in other words, he's going to die in his sins. Esau, the whole race, all of the wrongs that they have done is going to follow after them, just like the righteousness that we've done is going to follow after us. Okay? All of the sins that they've done from the time of their inception, when they came into the power seat, since the Greeks, since the Romans, since of what they're, and even since when they begun this society and what they're doing right now, all in combination, they're going to pay for all of that in the dust. And when they come back in the reincarnation after the dust, okay, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, if you know what I'm saying, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. So he's going to basically die in his sins. And his sins is going to follow him in the afterlife. I'm talking about all of these so-called white people, which represents Esau, their great-great-grandfather, himself included. So from the time of the Greeks, from the time of the Romans, and from the time of the beginnings of this system, even up to now, they're going to have to pay for all of that. Like I said, after the dust, after death, and they're going to come back and play out all of the wrongs that they have done, just like we had to play out for the wrongs that we've done. Okay? As a nation, Job 12 and verse 12. Now, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat, his goods, in his bowels is turned, and it is as the gall of asp within him. And he hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. And the Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps, and the viper's tongue shall slay him. And he shall not see the rivers, the floods of the brooks of honey and butter. And that which he labored for shall he restore. and shall not swallow it down according to his substance, and shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Right. So all of the stuff that they've labored in terms of how did they labor to get all of this stuff in the first place? By killing and doing a whole lot of savagery so that they could be where they're at right now. So guess what? All of that is going to be returned back to the rightful owners where it deserves to be. And these Edomites in the kingdom, they're going to be poor. These devils are going to go from riches to rags, as the saying goes, rags to riches, right? The opposite is going to happen to these devils. And they're not going to have absolutely anything. So much so, as the scripture says, right? Where it's going to be said, is this the man that made the earth? Let me see if I can read that, man. I'm going to pull that out. See if I can pull that out real quick. It's not allowing me to type. Okay, yeah, it is allowing me to type in. Yeah, this is it right here. Isaiah 14 and 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Exactly. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that openeth not the houses of the prisoners. All of the kings of the nations, even all of them that lie in glory, and every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. So they're going to be looking degradably terrible. All right? That's how they're going to look. Like they could have never been anything great. To the point, it's going to be unbelievable that they were the ancient Greeks. They were the Romans, and they did this and they did that. So they're not going to have absolutely nothing in the kingdom. They're going to be done right out here. So anyway, going back to the scriptures now. Let's read this. Proverbs 10 and verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon: a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is heaviness of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing. See? But righteousness delivered from death. So all of those treasures that they got by ill-gotten gain, yeah, there's no profit into it. Why? Because eventually they're going to have to give all of it back. That's the last resort. They're going to have to give every single thing back. And they have to pay in blood too. Right? So that's how they're going to pay reparations. They're going to pay reparations by the power of the Lord. The Lord is going to exert his power, and he's going to deliver us. And through all of that, we're going to get the reparations from these nations through the power of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Not through no sleazebagger Sir Starmer, man. He ain't doing it. He ain't giving no reparations. And even no president of the U.S. is going to do the same. No one ain't doing this, because if they give one nation reparations, guess what? They got to give everybody else reparations the same way. And before you know it, the West, as you know it as, will be just as poor, and if not probably the poorest nation or the poorest people in the Western Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere overall would not be known as you know it as today. It'd be poor. All right? Just like the people that they've conquered to be poor. So that's all I have to say with this. I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Basham Yahushua Basham Warakak Radashim. With that, I am out with this. Shalom.